This video is going to cover the Styles tab in Album DS. The Styles tab consists of two different types of styles. You have photo styles, which have a photo in the preview, and then you have layer styles, which show this fleur-de-lis pattern. Layer styles were covered in the video on using clipart. To learn about layer styles, please view the clipart video. For photo styles, these are what are used to stroke photos. So let's go ahead and get to it. First, click on the layer you wish to add a stroke to. Click on the shape layer right below it because that's where styles and masks are applied. So in this case, we're using a style. You can double click on any of the previews and your new style will be applied. If you're not happy with the style you chose, you can come in and simply double click something else. And you can even easily change the color. In this case, you'll see that there's an effect and a stroke. So if I double click on this stroke, I can now come into the color and change the color to anything I like, as well as adjust the width, or even add things like glows, bevels, etc. Now you could have done this straight from Photoshop. However, by default, let me show you what Photoshop does. Here's another image. I'm going to click down on the shape layer. I'm going to come over to Effects and choose Stroke. And by default, Photoshop draws on the outside. Let me show you what happens when you're drawing on the outside. If you look at the corners as I make this larger, you notice that they're round. When you draw on the outside, corners end up round. If you're positioning on the inside, they'll be nice and square. So rather than having to change this every time you go to do something, it's much easier just to click on any of our photo styles. Here's one here. And in this case, this one also has a drop shadow. But even in this case where it's black by default, I could always change that just by double-clicking on Stroke. And now I can easily change the color to something I grabbed from within the image. And I could even change the color of the drop shadow. And there's some effects there. When I'm happy with what I've got, simply choose OK. Now, if I had wanted this same style on both of these photos, there's a quick and easy way to get them on the other photos rather than repeating that whole process, and I'll show you what that is. Let's zoom out. And what I'm going to do is, this is the one I like. And if you notice here, you can see a small box here and a small box down below. And that represents the other two images here. So if I come over to this effect layer and hold down the Alt key and drag up to this layer and drag down to this shape layer, I'll have matching effects on all the images. That's especially useful if you've made some custom adjustments to any of the stroke effects. And that's really all there is to stroking your images in Album DS.